Okay, hello everyone, welcome to another video of COMP3218, Game Design and Development at the University of Southampton. My name is Tom Black, I am one of the lecturers on the course, and I am here with...
I'm Callum Sporforth, I'm one of the demonstrators on the course.
And
I'm Max Heyman, I'm one of the demonstrators on the course.
Fantastic. So, Callum, could you tell us a little bit what we asked the students to do for this coursework?
Cool. So we asked the students to design a small game prototype focused around storytelling. It's based on one of three fairy tales, Rapunzel, The Frog Prince, or The Travelling Musicians. The game needed to include a story engine that enabled the player to manipulate the narrative using the game and allow the narrative to manipulate the game.
Okay, fantastic. So, let's load up our first game. Do we know what this one is called? Because the file is imaginatively titled Game Dev 2.
Well, it depends. Who's...
I think it's the top of your... Oh, there we go. It is Let Your Hair Down, a Rapunzel story.
Perfect.
Ah, there we go. We've got a pun in the title already. Fantastic. Okay, so if we start the game up. Here we go. Aha! I think I saw this one in the expo. Did anyone else have a look at this one?
We can swap.
Sorry.
You and Max can swap.
Actually, that's a good point. Yeah, if... do you want to play this one? Because I saw it in the... I'll swap over here. Alright, so we've got a sort of... It looks sort of fairly typical, sort of, you know, slightly JRPG-ish graphics, and they all sort of tie together quite nicely.
It's a bit hard to see those things.
Yeah, so you've got some icons in the top right, and top left, and I think that is your inventory screen, because you can pick certain things up, and they will sort of fill that slot. So if we try and go across this bridge... What are you doing here? So we're just strolling by, but we can't cross this bridge without a permit. So that text scroll is a little bit slow. It'd be nice if there was a sort of click through to sort of speed that up a little bit. So the guards won't let us across this bridge without a permit. And we can't choose that bottom option that's locked, because obviously we don't have a permit yet. And I like the fact that it does sort of flash up in red text and say, okay, this is why you can't choose this option, which is nice. Handily, that yellow starry thing, that's a permit.
Okay.
So slightly contrived, but they were saying this was just to sort of introduce the player to like the inventory mechanic. Dear citizens, the Dark Forest made another victim. I am asking you for your own sake, don't go near that forest. It will only bring you harm. Your faithful mayor.
Push enter to close, that's a bit annoying.
Yeah, it's a bit weird that it's not E, but eh. So again, sort of slightly sort of environmental storytelling. Some
I feel like this house is not to scale.
That's a very large... Maybe it's a house for giants. Or maybe you're just really short.
Maybe it's an integral part of the plot.
Oh, there's something here, but I don't know what it is. Oh.
It's a flower.
But I can't pick up this flower.
You can't pick up the other. So
Okay, so the icon on the top left is now no longer just a outline.
Yeah, so we can see that we've got it. Which is interesting, because it does sort of hint at the things you can pick up. However, because they've used that same flower sprite in quite a lot of places, and I think that's the only one of them you can pick up.
Yeah.
So maybe I would have used a slightly different flower sprite just to make it stand out from all the others, but otherwise it's still nice that they've led the players towards what items you can pick up.
So this looks like an open
said,
building, but I can't go there.
That said, it'll be interesting to see if the other two...
Well, I think we can talk to...
I did talk to him.
What did they say?
He just said, if you want to go to work, go somewhere. If not, go away.
It'll be interesting to see if the other two outlines end up being obviously correlated with some item in the world, though. To see if that sort of continues.
So I don't think you can go in any of the buildings. Hello, fellow adventurer. What brings us to this boring town? Do you want to help me with a favour? That sounds like a quest. All I need from you is to get me some white flowers. Well, you're in luck.
I already have one.
So,
That's nice.
a bit of a shame that, again, the story engine doesn't sort of recognise that we're already carrying it, and we can sort of say, aha, well...
It did have the option.
It did have the option. Oh, it did? Okay, yeah. I missed that. I wasn't looking closely enough. So, bought it a long time ago, so we've got an amulet that apparently was enchanted, but actually isn't.
Oh.
So, based on that sort of the icon inventory screen thing, I think we've picked up possibly every interactable item in the game.
What was the one on the right?
That was the permit that let us get across the bridge.
Okay.
So that's kind of interesting. You sort of get interrupted through the dialogue.
Mm.
So we're sort of being filled in a little bit of backstory about the town. So this person apparently lost his son.
Hmm.
This is very painful writing.
Yeah, it's again, it's got that sort of teletype effect to it.
And it's centered,
And-
so just everything moves all the time.
Makes it quite challenging, but also slow to read. It'll be nice to have some kind of option to sort of just skip ahead to the end. And
Yeah, so we have seen some games that sort of try and toy with the idea of the sort of teletype effect to sort of try and give some indication of the tone with which people are speaking. Sort of have bits sort of drag on and some bits that sort of appear suddenly. But even those, it's nice to have some sort of skip function because generally we read a lot faster than it will appear. And particularly if we've got to go through 80 of these.
Yeah. The only exception I would say was where it just did the ... I thought that was very nicely enhanced by the
Yeah, exactly.
teletype
That's sort of giving an idea of the tone of sort of the awkward pause because the game actually sort of pauses awkwardly. It's nice. What's that? That's a mouse.
I thought it was a fish.
I must admit,
This feels a bit Monty Python. I don't know.
pat the mouse, pat the mouse. There you go.
The horrible monster. Oh, we get a little heart. Nice.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Cool.
So there's a signpost. Can we read the signpost?
No, it's very big.
There's a person. No, we're just going to ignore them.
I don't want to talk to anyone anymore. Fine.
Hey there, mister. So, in the game notes they submit for this, Callum, what have they said about their story engine?
So they've said they give you the freedom to explore the environment, interact with NPCs, objects, and animals. Some of these actions may have consequences within the world. Apparently, the story engine customizes elements of the story according to certain choices made by the player, and primarily that does seem to be through dialogue, but I can't quite tell what else there is.
So it'd be nice if they gave us a little bit of indication of exactly what was happening. Oop, that was fast. We sort of leapt up that tower.
Yep.
So obviously there are certain things the game is tracking, like our inventory state, and that is going to unlock different dialogue options. And we can sort of see what they are because if we don't have the correct item, the dialogue option is still there but locked, which is an interesting way of doing it. You could argue that it maybe sort of spoils some of the narrative for the player, but also hints what they need to do to unlock it.
So one thing they do say they do in terms of managing the narrative paradox is they've used the sort of area gating by NPCs to make sure you've experienced the bare minimum amount of narrative before you can progress. So they sort of force you to interact sufficiently with an area.
Again, which is something that we've seen before that's not necessarily like it's a bit of a sort of bare bones way of doing it by sort of forcing the player to sort of get to a certain point in the narrative before they're allowed to continue, where instead of just sort of letting them sort of rush ahead but then having the narrative sort of adapt around them and people sort of saying, for example, but didn't you know about this really obvious thing that you just rushed past?
It's a very, very blunt way of delivering that restriction of agency, and it's quite obvious to a player, I think.
But it's not. I still like that they're sort of they're tracking the inventory, they're sort of unlocking dialogue options as they go. But
I mean, it works, and they've done it in a reasonably nice way here, particularly with sort of like the guards blocking the bridge and things like that.
It just feels that a little bit simple, partly because there's so one of the there are basically 3 inventory items. One of them leads to another one, and one of them sort of right at the ground on your feet when you start, which does introduce you to it, but it does feel that it's just a case of find the arbitrarily shaped key to fit this lock.
Yeah.
So you did quite well on that run through. So the first time I played this, I took the wrong ending and immediately got killed.
What's the wrong ending?
So in the path, in the forest, you have a choice between taking the safe route and the dangerous route, and obviously I took the dangerous route because I was a fool.
There was 2 routes?
I think so, depending on which way you... Let's restart it and have a look and see if we... Because there are definitely alternate endings to this.
So it'll be interesting to see if we can identify some of the narrative choice in this. Because the other thing they've said they do is they use sort of dialogue with certain NPCs that don't actually impact the narrative.
So that's prompting you that the notice board is interactable.
But I can't. There's an invisible wall.
But it actually forces you to interact with it. So that's yeah, not sure how I feel about that.
So they've got a few things in this game.
Particularly because it's not. Sorry. Particularly just because it's not. There's no reason for us not to be able to progress. It is an invisible wall. There's no reason for it. It's not like an NPC comes up to us and says, even that they think it's important that we should read it and blocks our path, as arbitrary as that would be. It's just an invisible wall and you can't progress until you've clicked on this thing.
So where is the other path?
Not this way. So if you go around the other side, I think there's a path out of the south side of the village. There we go. Go left. Right is dangerous. So if we go to the right, you see all these skulls that sort of are a bit foreboding.
Go left. What, that way?
As in sort of the path that you took the first time round, I think. So, and it gets darker and darker as the forest is darker, and then we sort of emerge. And then there's another choice here, to the right for the castle. So if we go right, because that's where it says the castle is. But where is their castle? And then if we go back, it triggers this sort of little narrative event. So again, it notices that we've been to a certain place and then triggers this event when we come back. However, bit of an arbitrary choice.
Always look behind you. What is it?
Yeah, I don't know what.
So it doesn't seem like there's any particularly meaningful way to avoid that.
Well, so this is what I said the first time I saw it, but then I remembered the first path we picked, it said, this is a dangerous way, don't go this way. And we ignored it. And then, so after that point, if you're going to trick the player, the fact that you signposted it and said, this is the dangerous path, sort of alludes to that.
But at the same time, you'd expect that to be a particularly meaningful choice rather than just saying, this is the dangerous path, and then just immediately game overing the player.
Why would the witch try and catch people by saying, there's a dangerous path, don't go down here, and then people go down there?
It would be maybe nicer if, the second signpost had sort of some extra dialogue on it that said, this has been a bit crudely painted out and somebody has repainted over it, this is the castle. Just, again, to sort of really foreshadow that actually we should ignore this sign. And B, like you say, it's not really a meaningful choice. There's no reason for us to go down this path. If we had to go down here because, say, there was a quest item and we had to use our smarts and cunningness to realise that it was a trick and sort of take this left route here, because this is where you come out. If you so if you go through that tunnel, there's that sort of secret route there. So we can still get to the same place through multiple routes, but there's no reason for us to do it.
It's very much here is a right way and here is a wrong way.
And then, again, you can't actually get into the tower until somebody's told you about it, so you have to go all the way back.
Or this way.
Yeah, so it feels like this could have been a bit...
I mean, but what's there is nice, right? They definitely have a story engine. It could be expanded on, but they've definitely got sort of like the building blocks of something interesting here. So that's how you enter the tower.
Yeah, it just would have been nice if they'd sort of handled that player agency in a bit more of an elegant way.
Yeah, exactly. They do sort of... Yeah, the way things are locked off does feel a little bit clumsy at times.
Particularly with ever having to backtrack is just a bit of a big red flag. Because it's not satisfying for a player to have to run backwards and forwards across the same terrain. This is the same reason as why being sent back to the start is not particularly... Wait, what did you do?
He was rude to the princess. You should never be rude to princesses.
Oh, okay. Fair.
Alright, should we move on?
Yeah.
Alright, what is our next game? Is it Mysterio?
It is actually Mysterio.
Mysterio. It sounds mysterious.
Yes, it's not just that 8th round on Expo 2.
So, another game with a help screen.
It's a horrible blue.
It's a difficult colour to read. So, this is an exploration adventure game. Discover the secrets of the unusual event that happened here. Okay, so far so mysterious. Listen carefully to what people have to say. You never know what you may find useful. Move around using WASD. Talk to people using X. Space to continue. Okay?
X, that's very weird.
It's, yeah, but... So if you're doing arrows, then X is fine, but yeah. Okay. Aha, I remember seeing this one in the expo as well.
Is that a Snorlax at the bottom?
I don't think so. I think it's just a really fat king. So, your father says, my obesity has gotten worse. Your mother and I will travel tonight to a nutritionist in Gravenad. Take care of yourself, my child. Space to continue. So, yeah, it's a bit weird that X and you have to use X and space instead of just one.
When you were next to him, it looked like the PlayStation icon.
Yeah.
So.
That's maybe they designed it for console.
Yeah, but then it's a push space.
Ah, true. So this is our mother, so we have to go to bed. So again, telling us that we've got to go up these stairs. So if we try and go out this way...
Is that a door? Or
Yeah, these are doors.
Okay.
You know, sort of like Pokemon. You've got like the little sort of indicator for where the doorway is. So we can't go out any of these. It'd be nice if there was some sort of message like our mother calling us back and saying, but I just told you should go to bed.
See, I thought they were bridges, like little bits of bridges at first.
Yeah.
And they're in water.
So we can only go up the stairs. And again, that's sort of... We can head downstairs. I don't think we can interact with anything except the bed.
Oh, I would have to say that some of the transition icons, such as the stairs and the door, it's not immediately clear what they are.
The stairs were fairly clear.
They were on the way up, but on the way down.
Yeah. So it's day 2. So we've gone to sleep.
Okay, cool.
And yeah, still nothing we can interact with up here. But if we head downstairs...
Alright.
Who's this? This is our uncle. He's terribly sorry to tell us that our parents have died on their way to the castle. Our teachers had an argument, but they both wanted to see us. So there's the commander in the garden, and there is the elder in the dining hall.
Okay, so our parents have just died under mysterious circumstances?
He's particularly blasé about that.
Yeah.
And we don't seem that broken up by it. It's like, our parents have died, but your teachers wants to see you, so let's go to class, I guess. Which,
interesting.
I mean, it propels the plot for sure, but it's not...
realistic.
It feels like that. I mean, like that's definitely an inciting narrative event, right? And it feels like not a lot is really made of it.
Yeah,
like just some return dialogue saying sort of what no would have been. Yeah.
It doesn't get you particularly invested in the story yet. It sort of still feels a little arbitrary, but let's push on, I guess.
So we have to see one of 2 of our teachers. We have to either go and talk to the commander or the elder. Which way do you think we have to go to speak to the commander?
Let's go left, because it's the least likely to actually go in.
See, this is the thing. There is no indication which one of these doors lead to which one of those things. So not only do we... Like, right now it's an arbitrary choice between speaking to one or the other, but also we don't know how to get to them. So even if there was just a little signpost here saying, to the garden, or when we walked over here the prompt said, press X to go to the garden, or something like that. It would make it a lot clearer. So yeah, actually we can't go out this way yet.
Oh, okay, so we try a different door?
So let's go south.
So importantly, can we go back now and decide to go the other way?
We can.
Okay, cool.
So we go up here.
So at least we've not been blocked off from sort of going back and changing our choice.
And again, weirdly, this is a little bit unusual because we leave out the top of this map, but then show up in the top of this map as well.
Oh, interesting, okay.
Which is, yeah, a little bit weird. So would you like to speak to the commander or the elder?
Commander, since we're here.
Alright, since we're here, we'll talk to the commander. Commander, the bookworm is scheming something. He must have something to do with your parents' disappearance. Anyway, let's follow where we left off. See, again, sort of very sort of blasé. It's like, yeah, your parents have been killed, and I think it was the elder. But anyway, back to class.
They said killed, but now it's disappearance.
This is true.
I thought it was inconsistent.
That might be deliberately inconsistent.
So he's good.
So he's given us a present. It's our father's ring. Why does he have our father's ring? Everyone in the kitchen recognises these symbols. Sometimes your father would sneak out in the night for some mischief midnight snacks. If the guards caught him, he could prove he's the king.
Hey, don't forget to attend the party. Oh, we're celebrating our parents' death.
Oh, again, it's sort of a weird time for a party.
Yeah.
But, okay. So we could go. So we can't go down here yet. I don't think we can go this way yet. So the only way for us to go is back this way.
I think what I'd say is that it's certainly the tone seems very off for the content of the actual narrative.
So now if we talk to the elder, he won't talk to us because...
How does he know?
So A, how does he know? B, how did we know that this would happen? So this is... sort of a bit punishing to the player. The first time I played this, I thought I could talk to both of them, hear both sides of their story.
And you didn't really know which one was which, even if you went one way or the other way.
I said, yeah, it's not super obvious that this is the king.
I mean, it's also not obvious in any way that why is the other guy a traitor? Did I miss something? No.
Well,
they had an argument?
They both think the other one has something to do with the parents' disappearance.
Did we know that before talking to the commander?
And that's it. It maybe would have been a lot more interesting sort of narratively to go and hear both sides of their story and then like sort of try and pick up on inconsistencies and then sort of point the finger at one of them.
Yeah.
So now we've spoken to him as well.
I'd also like to point out that pissing off the new king does not seem like the greatest idea.
We're not the new king.
Oh, are we not?
I'm pretty sure our uncle is the new king. Now I don't know if you've ever heard of something called Hamlet, but so here's that. Have you been to the party yet?
Wait, okay, so now we're going to go to the party.
You woke up and the party just happened?
So I don't know where the party is.
Could it be out?
It's left, yeah.
Hey, okay.
Here we go. So I think we're on a balcony here because I can't actually go left. So if we go around this way. I went to pick up mushrooms in the forest today, but the guards turned me around. Why won't they let me into the forest? Suspicious. I'm leaving next week to the North Prison. The guards have been doubled and they pay 20 gold coins a day. The opportunity of a lifetime.
Suspicious as well.
Suspicious as well. We haven't even found the bodies yet, and probably never will. I think we should all just stop looking. What? We can't even find any wolf tracks. So it turns out our parents may not be dead, but they've definitely disappeared, and suddenly there are a lot more guards in the North Prison.
It is very, very strongly hinting at something.
It certainly is. Which is, prototype, it's fine. We want to propel the plot a little bit. But, so who else have we got to talk to? Here, 3 days ago I had the strangest order. I was asked to craft a chair 2 meters wide and deliver it to the North Prison. So somebody of, let's say, a rotund build is probably in the Northern Prison.
So I must admit, I might have liked to have some kind of indication that it could be anything other than the king has gone to the North Prison. Unless it's going to pull the rug out from under us. But even then, if it surprises us and says, well, actually, the king did die, it'll be, a little bit jarring for the opposite reason.
So now we have to go and investigate the North Prison. So we go out here, I think.
So we go north, then south, then... right, okay.
And then this way.
I'm the north again.
Oh, wow, that's a very noticeable art change.
Here we go. So actually, we have to go south to the prison.
Hey, so what's east then?
Yeah, east is a castle with a princess in it.
Do you want to go to the castle with the princess?
Because this is Rapunzel after all, so...
Can we go see the princess?
Do you not want to rescue your family first?
No, let's go see the princess.
So I don't think we can yet.
Oh, okay.
Well, sort of. Or rather, it doesn't really make sense for us to. So I'll do this first and then we can go back.
I wonder where our father could be.
I see the king's emblem. You must be the prince. Then the fat guy is actually the king!
How many extremely rotund people wearing crowns?
I mean, surely the king's fairly recognisable. He's on the back of all of those coins.
Especially by his own guards, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But, meh. So now we can speak to the king. So if we spoke to the king before we spoke to the guard, he'd say, you should speak to the guard.
Okay.
So, again, it's sort of keeping track of who we've spoken to and things and progressing the narrative based on that.
So it is definitely his uncle.
Now let's catch up. So it is definitely the uncle. So he just repeats his dialogue. Okay. So again, it'd be nice if it sort of tracked that and said something different, but, yeah. So now we have to go back this way. I assume we have to confront our uncle. So again, we left this place from the south, and when we came back here, we were in the north, and now we have to go back north to get back to the castle. So some of the scene transitions are a little bit wonky.
So is this our uncle?
By the way, the giant blue J in the corner, if we press J, I think we were supposed to... Yeah, we get a little journal that wasn't quite working.
Okay.
But it's sort of supposed to keep track of all the hints we've got about the identity of what's going on. Oh no, how could this happen? I don't want to die. Screams and runs away. You win!
Okay, so wait, what happened to what was about the castle and the princess?
So I think if we speak to the elder, he gives us a different thing.
So one thing I would immediately say is, in any kind of mystery, you need the opportunity to make the wrong prediction, and this essentially just told you everything that was going to happen and exactly what was going on.
It would have been fun if it was kind of Cluedo-like.
Yeah. So if the core principle of this game is sort of a bit of a whodunit, who killed the king or what happened to the king,
and what happened to the queen.
Also,
That's a good point. Yeah, she was.
Yeah.
Maybe she's locked in the castle. So we also can't go up the stairs until until the Queen's told us to. So again,
So actually,
sort of narrative gating of where we're allowed to go. But
aside from the opening choice, it feels like a perfectly linear narrative to me. I don't know about you.
even then, it's actually, yeah.
I mean, it's essentially two completely separate linear narratives that you can decide at the start.
And again, sort of, it'd be nice if there was some sort of prompt that said, don't go just yet. I need to speak to you. But right now it's just a case of, we're putting an invisible wall up here because it's not time for you to go there yet.
But I find it really weird they then stop putting the invisible walls on when you go to the castle.
I was about to say, so even if we've spoken to the commander first and then the elder, and then we go to the prison, we can actually still go to the castle and do the thing that we don't know how to do. So I'll play through it and you can see. Okay. So if we speak to the elder instead of the commander, he says, avoid the commander, he's evil. He must have done something to your parents. Anyway, 238 years ago, this castle was assaulted by Zidonians, but the enemy didn't have ladders to climb the walls. Instead, they used bows and arrows with ropes attached to shoot them over the wall and climb up. Don't forget to attend the party.
I'm starting to think everyone in this just has a really short attention span.
Maybe they just didn't really like the king.
Yeah, maybe.
So let's go to the party, and then...
Right, did we find out what happened? Is this all the same dialogue?
I think so. But this, yeah.
No,
so,
okay.
No, that's the same dialogue. We said that last time as well.
So about the other person? Let's just see if any of the dialogue has changed.
Yep, same dialogue.
Yep, okay.
I don't know if we have to speak to everyone before it will let us out again, though. Oh,
no, okay,
go.
cool.
So we have to go this way, and then that's right. We can go to the castle.
If we talk to the commander, does he just accuse us of being a traitor?
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah, but we still think to go to the north thing. We don't know to go here, do we?
Well, yeah, exactly. But it turns out, so again, this sprite sheet is super different to all the others and very blurry.
Yes. Don't just switch your art styles out in the middle of the game.
So there's a castle here. I don't think so. Oop, there we go.
I can't get down. Help.
But look over there. There's some bows and some rope.
I see. Okay.
So we can go around here. So even if we hadn't spoken to the commander, or rather had spoken to the commander and not the elder, we'd still be able to go and do this bit.
Weird.
Which is interesting because, like we said before, at least they're not just throwing up an invisible wall and saying, "Oh, you spoke to the wrong person, therefore you can't do this." But it's a thing we'd have to figure out without that hint, I guess.
Okay.
So that bit is actually not too bad.
So I mean, I guess that is actually a choice in the game then, I suppose, even if it's a very, very hidden one you don't know exists.
But the sort of the branch is a little bit arbitrary because they don't resolve the. I mean, here we just go to this. Yeah, exactly. We just save a random person from a random tower and says, "Now let's go and catch your uncle."
She has a remarkable knack for knowing what's going on.
So she seems to know what's going on more than everyone else in the kingdom.
I think we should leave her up there. She's clearly involved.
Now, can you go and get your uncle?
And I think
can you get the king?
We can, but we don't have the ring, so they won't recognise us and let us in.
Should we call it a day on this one then?
Hang on, let me just prove that you are really the prince.
Right. Okay. So we can't
speak to the guards for me, but we can't.
Oh, okay.
So the only way to win this way, if we've spoken to the elder first, is to go there, and then let's go and confront our uncle for the last time. Oh no, how could this happen? Okay.
Right. Yeah, so there was definitely a story engine there. It was definitely driving the narrative. It was definitely changing the game.
So it's definitely keeping track of who we'd spoken to. It would have been really nice if it had done some of it a little bit more intelligently, so not locking us off from certain areas if we haven't been there yet. Instead of just sort of blatantly refusing to talk to us if we've spoken to the other teacher, if there was some sort of more dialogue option. So at first they say, "Oh, how could you talk to that traitor before me?" And then if we could sort of mollify them and then sort of still learn what they know, and then sort of turn it into a sort of murder mystery kind of thing where you have to sort of figure out the clues rather than sort of follow that slightly linear path.
And I think that was the challenge that narrative faced. So if it was trying to tell a story of, well, who done it, what happened to the king, it was very, very signposted all the way through exactly what you're supposed to do.
So I'm a little more forgiving of that because, again, we only wanted 10-minute prototypes, so it's hard to do a whole murder mystery in 10 minutes. So I don't mind that some of the signposting was very, very sort of blatant, but...
I think what I mean is that there wasn't any kind of other information to even obscure that.
There wasn't a lot for us to do in terms of sort of puzzle. It was just go to this person, talk to them, go to this person, talk to them.
Yeah. Whereas at least if someone had, maybe if they more mixed up the information, that I don't know, it would be very similar to have you make one choice in which maybe you go down the Rapunzel route or the King route depending on how you interpret the information.
The first route we did, Rapunzel wasn't in the game.
Yeah, quite. It was Hamlet, not Rapunzel.
Yeah.
So yeah, difficult to see really which one of those. Even in the second route, when we actually sort of went to see Rapunzel, she hadn't been mentioned at all, other than sort of, oh, there's some weeping in the forest.
Yeah.
But then we sort of show up, and she says, "Oh, let's go get your uncle." And again, it's back to the whole sort of Hamlet narrative rather than the Rapunzel one. She's a character in it, but it's not the story of Rapunzel.
Yeah. I'd say that.
Right, should we move on to the next one?
Yeah, let's move on to the next one. Let's see. Prince and Princess.
Yep, that's Prince and
Alternatively,
Princess.
long
hair. Slightly long pig, but different. Okay, so Prince and Princess. Ooh, we've got some music. So this the first game of today that's had music, I think.
Well, as always, music is a good thing to have in the game.
Yeah, it's just a very nice sort of background thing. It makes it feel a little bit more polished. I'm just going to turn it down a little bit.
It's 50% of the experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, see stuff.
So we've got start game and quit game. Good.
It's just a good way of spending 20 minutes just adding music to your game, because it adds a lot more than the effort you put in.
That's it. There's plenty of sort of like freely licensed music that you like specifically for games, if nothing else. Rapunzel's mother stole the apple of the witch. The witch was very angry. This is quite loud. I've turned it down and it's still.
Yeah, I read that the apple of the watch.
Apple of the watch. The witch was very angry. In exchange, Rapunzel's mother had to give Rapunzel to the witch. Okay, so giving us some sort of like background of the story. Her magic turned the village into a mirror. What?
The witches? I don't.
How does it? Hang on. What? In what sort of? Is this a metaphorical mirror, or is it literally just turned into a hand mirror?
I'm curious. That sounds fun.
And now I'm wondering if this is how. Is that in the?
I don't think so. But
let's keep going and we'll find out. Rapunzel grew up to be the most beautiful child under the sun. Okay, so we got sort of typical sort of JRPG sort of cutscene with a little avatar of who's speaking, which is kind of nice. When she was 12 years old, the witch shut her into a tower, which led into a forest.
Alright.
She lived alone in the tower, and singing on the top of the tower is her only pleasure. Until one day, dun dun dun. And again,
click to skip the telling time.
I can actually.
Excellent.
Oh, fancy that. On that day, you, the Prince of Disney, hunted in the forest of the south. Suddenly, you heard sweet songs from. So again, I like the way they changed the background just to sort of give it a change of scene.
So one thing I would say is that does add a lot if you're just going to give what is essentially a text dump to the reader. Having something else going on does add some depth to it.
And the same with these avatars. It's a bit weird that they're sort of duplicated here. I think one would have been plenty, but anyway. The sound might come from the tower in the northeast of the forest. I need to go to the tower to see who is singing. Okay, so this is us.
Awesome.
Is that the tower?
That seems very close. Let's go to the tower.
So what do you reckon the controls are? How do we get to the tower?
I think you lick the screen and it works.
It's not WASD.
Click.
It is arrow keys.
Okay, there we go.
It seems that was not a long journey at all.
You're just really good.
So do we shout under the tower, or do we break into the tower directly?
We don't know who this girl is.
How
She
do you
could be
get
some
under
creep.
the
Let's
tower?
shout under the tower.
Well, I think from the foot of the tower.
Yeah.
Let's just yell. Oi! So she comes to the window. Hello, are you calling me? Yes. Beautiful girl, why are you singing on this?
No, who else would we be calling?
I was trapped by witches. Can you help me get out of here?
Nah.
No.
Let's just not.
You might be in there for a good reason.
Yeah.
So let's
say no, because I want to see how it handles sort of us denying the plot.
Well, anyway, I've been here for so many. She's just going to keep talking at us.
Okay.
I will always be here. If you want to help me, you can come back.
Alright, so that's just
So, this is very slow. Are we going to have to walk all the way around this forest? It seems that the girl is singing.
Okay.
It just restarts this.
So that's well, I'm glad they have handled that better than just a game over. It's fairly
It's a bit of a non-choice, right?
Yeah.
It's you cannot proceed until you click on this button.
And it's very obviously a non-choice because you then get redirected back to the same.
However, we can break into the tower directly. But we met the witch on the first floor.
Swear.
Yob, you dare break into my tower. You and the poor girl will be shut up. So we're going to be locked in there with the princess.
Oh, cool. Alright.
Yeah. You can't shut me up. I'm a prince. I don't care. Well, she's a princess, so yeah, she obviously doesn't care. No one can stop what I want to do. Ha 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 ha. You are close to the top of the tower.
Nice.
So, okay, so I was going to say, so this one is just a game over, but it's not.
I like that.
Blah blah blah. You tell the princess all things happen to you. I'll put you down with my long hair, and then you can help me. Okay.
Alright, so we just escaped. That was nice and easy, wasn't it?
And we're not at the foot of the... So I assume... I was very worried that we'd just be at the foot of the tower and we'd have to have that conversation again until we'd pick the right choice.
That said, I'm not entirely sure why we're in a completely different area.
We move a lot faster now. Oh, thank goodness for that. So
this looks like some kind of... what?
Okay.
I guess you put the files into a rope, maybe?
So I'm not clear exactly what our goal is here. Also, these collisions are a little bit sticky. I'm now stuck
I'm
under
not
these
sure what's
flowers.
going on.
Oh,
Honestly.
okay. So these little grass things are actually colliders. So
So you actually have a retry and give up option in the top left.
really
Yes.
exciting. Oh, what? So one of those brambles, I sort of just busted my way through, and now I'm here. And now there are other flowers.
Oh, I see. I'm
And
guessing-
these turn into...
So right. So it's actually increasing the difficulty of the puzzle as you go on.
So now I'm stuck, so that retry thing makes sense?
Except it's not immediately clear where you're meant to be going.
Or what I'm meant to be doing.
Oh, and you can get out through the bushes. Oh, how weird.
So I can't... Oh, wait, let's retry. So yeah, where am I meant to... Oh, it's
Oh
over
no, okay, that's not good.
So I thought maybe this was just...
What if you give up? I quite
Uh,
fancy giving up.
I might... Oh. So this is not well bounded, so I can... Oh,
Onwards!
okay.
Hey, we did it!
Can you do the same again?
Yeah.
No, so these ones do have colliders on, but... So that's, yeah, maybe a little bit of a bug. So, but where am I trying to get?
Yeah.
Do I just have to walk out this side here? Do I have to get to...
Perhaps you were trying to get everything and get back?
I don't think
I can.
This is something we've seen a few games do, which is sort of just, hey, look, a puzzle for the sake of a puzzle.
Yes.
And it doesn't have any particular narrative value. And it sort of is breaking up the narrative segments of the game.
But I don't know what the point of this is.
Yeah.
And what am I meant to be doing? We've been let out of the tower.
It is fundamentally disjoint from the narrative.
Ah. Okay.
Oh, okay.
I bring the rope.
Where did we get the rope from?
You grew it.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe it's made out of those flowers. I don't know.
Now I put my hair from the top of the tower to the ground.
Put the rope on the princess's hair, and the princess got the rope. After all the preparations are made, the princess finally runs out of the tower.
Okay.
There she is. However, when the princess ran out of the tower, the witch knows about it.
Which is from coming from somewhere to chase you. You need to find a way to beat her before she gets back.
Talk to the people nearby. So she's going to wait here, presumably right next to the witch.
Okay.
Okay.
Fine, that's her choice.
Right.
Let's go and talk to some of these people that are supposedly nearby.
We're really slow again.
So I guess it does convey that sense of sort of overworld map versus sort of
Is it?
instance map. A little bit.
I
but
mean,
it's,
I don't think so, because we're not in an overworld map. We're going around talking to characters.
Oh, I thought because everything was zoomed out, we'd be in an overworld map.
No. Is everything zoomed out? Alright,
Yeah, zoomed out compared to in the little puzzle segment.
I think we're the same size. I don't know.
We are the same size.
Woodcutter knows about the surrounding terrain. He's been chopping wood. But can we speak to him again? Oh, there's a little bit of a texture.
Okay, it's definitely a scene. Ah, here we go. Speak.
Hi.
Hi.
I am Damon.
Oh.
Matt.
Is that the first
name's
time we've
Damon.
introduced our name?
I think so. We're just Prince,
Yeah.
the artist formerly known as Damon. Do you know there lives a witch nearby? Yes, the witch is powerful and powerful.
Excellent. Very powerful. Too powerful.
Double powerful. She's too powerful. Are you an outlander? Yes, I come from a distant kingdom. The witch is chasing me now. Do you know how to defeat the witch? I don't know how to beat the witch, but there's a legend that a fairy lives in the lake. She may help you defeat the witch.
Alright,
I'll go look for fairies now.
let's have a think about the story engine for a bit then. So what
So-
have we got going on there?
So you've got their game notes. What do they say about it?
Oh, that's an interesting question.
So
What do you think about it while I read the game notes?
So I think they... I don't know. I'm not sure what they're keeping track of.
I think it's this one.
Because, so, our choices are progressing the story, but I'm not sure how much the story engine remembers about the choices we've made. So we made some decisions, we got locked in the top of the tower, but then we sort of got sent back to presumably where we would have been if we'd just spoken to Rapunzel nicely. Then we went through some puzzles and came back to where we'd started, but it didn't... But it was just a case of it's progressing the narrative rather than it's remembering anything about it. So let's take a look at this guy. The merchant is in the village. The merchants in the village often run around.
Okay, so they would... They actually have a really nice little flowchart here.
Okay.
Which explains all of the choices, which is quite good.
A fairy lives in the lake. So tell us about some of the choices we could make.
Alright, so when we were under the tower, we could choose to break in, or break in.
We're going to slowly walk towards this. This doesn't feel like... This is a puddle, not a lake. Beautiful fairy has strong power to protect... Sorry, continue.
So we have to break into the tower. And
we have to break into the tower.
Well, there's no branch on the flowchart for anything else. So it looks like...
Interesting. So I thought we were sort of subverting the narrative they'd planned by sort of breaking in rather than anything else.
Not obviously, no. But then when you get to getting let down from the tower and you have to find the rope, you... I see. Okay, no, it's just they've drawn the flowchart wrong. That's all it is. So you've got a choice of breaking into the tower or talking to the princess, and if you decide to help her, or if you break into the tower, you eventually end up at the choice of having to find some rope.
But it's not a choice. We have to do that to progress.
So eventually you have to find the rope. But you can choose, if you succeed at finding the rope, you go one way. If you fail to find the rope, you get thrown into a different puzzle. And...
Well, hang on, so when did we find the rope?
I think that was what the farming puzzle was.
But there was no indication of that when we were doing it, so, yeah.
And either way, even if you give up on finding the rope, which I do like, they don't just immediately fail.
Okay, so the give up is not just to sort of quit the game, it's a...
No, they throw you into a sort of different puzzle, it seems, that you can either succeed or fail. And if you then fail that second puzzle, you get sent back to being under the tower. Okay. And I think that's actually the start of the game again.
Interesting. Okay, so it is basically.
So it's sort of a restart mechanic there.
So we've found the fairy, and they've given us the choice of 3 swords: the golden sword, the silver sword, or the copper sword.
So this will choose your ending.
Oh no! Don't tell me. I'm keen to guess.
Oh, okay.
Because this is the thing, right? We've been given no information. We've been talking to all of these people, and they've said the fairy will help you defeat the witch. None of them have mentioned witches are weak to silver or copper or gold or anything like that. So this is totally random.
So if I were to tell you that one of these will lose you the game and 2 will win you the game...
That's not what I was expecting. I was expecting the other way around, if I'm honest.
Okay.
I was expecting one of these... I don't know, witches are allergic to silver. Let's pick silver. Take your weapon to defeat the witch. So
which one did you go for?
I went for silver.
Why would she give you the choice of one that wouldn't work?
If she's helping us.
She's a terrible fairy. She's actually just a weapons dealer. She's your local arms dealing fairy.
So we have to... Is this also a linear... Oh, hang on, there's somebody up here as well that I didn't see. Are they gonna give me the clue that I need? Ooh, there's the witch's found us. So she suddenly appeared out of nowhere, though I can just walk off and talk to this person instead. I feel that might break the game if I try that though, so... which it may have done anyway. You... Ooh, hey, so I like the fact that the text box sort of like jiggles a little to sort of signify that we're attacking. That was kind of nice. The dark energy of the witch was purified. Hooray, without the dark energy, you can be a good woman.
So it's the sword of totally not killing witches.
Prince returned to the kingdom with the prince. So there was actually another character that we didn't see on that path who looked like some sort of weapons master. So maybe he gives us a hint. Does it mention anything like that in the notes? I
haven't seen anything about it.
So how do they expect the player to sort of make a choice between those 3 swords?
I'm not seeing... Finally, a big climax point was that the prince looks for clues to defeat the witch. That's all I've got here, I'm afraid.
Okay.
So I'm not quite sure how you're meant to know which sword does what. Maybe there's a character we didn't talk to or something.
So there definitely was.
So interestingly, their method of resolving the narrative paradox
so now you just
is to continually push you back towards the correct branch of the game. But...
You will go to a garden, collect a certain number of plants, and use their rhizome. What?
Oh, there we go. So this is the thing we missed on the first one.
Yeah, so if we take the other path, we don't get any of this prompt. Collect a certain number of plants. So it's just collect a certain number of plants.
So if you give up now, you'll go to a different puzzle. So I propose you give up.
But also, I can get through this one without collect. Alright, let's give up.
Let's give up.
You didn't make a successful rope.
Alright, cool.
Which found you, your eyes were hurt by witch's magic. You need to go to the maze to find the medicine in the rope.
So even though they're trying to give you different challenges to sort of resolve this narrative paradox,
And
it's still very overtly it's pushing you towards, you have to get this rope. And it doesn't feel like you actually have the choice.
Also, it just feels really disjoint. I mean, there's... your eyes are hurt. There's a maze with some medicine in it, and some bad medicine, and a rope.
Mm-hmm.
All of the things you need to progress the narrative.
Hey. And also, if you fail this, you do go back to the start of the game.
Oh, wow, this is... Now we're a giant! Or just really zoomed in. Was that good medicine? Oh, because our eyes are damaged. Okay, I take it that's
quite
actually
nice.
kind of nice.
Yeah, alright.
So no hint that whether that was good medicine or bad medicine, though. And no hint whether this is... So that was good as well.
Maybe
no,
it's all good.
that was bad because now our controls are reversed.
Hey, what?
That's actually... Well, and that was bad because it's zoomed out.
That was a blinding potion, maybe?
But
It's a pretty interesting mechanic.
That was the same colour as the other one.
So I really like them playing with the camera. That is a really nice use of mechanics, impact, and narrative combining.
Yeah, it's not... Yeah.
Like, it's genuinely just a nice reflection of the narrative.
Oh, okay, so that one's got
That's a good one, and I think the bottom one's a bad one.
Really? I thought it was the other way around.
Well, you don't have to get more... There we go. See?
Okay, so
But we don't have a choice to get this one.
Oh, and now I'm blind and backwards.
Okay, so I don't like the fact that this is... I don't like the fact that it keeps sort of almost railroading us into picking these up.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a maze, it's a labyrinth.
Yeah. I mean, it's a very, very linear maze, honestly.
That's what a labyrinth is.
Ah, right, I did not realise the difference.
It's not strictly a labyrinth because you've got these sort of
I
mini
know we're
dead
blind
ends.
again.
Oh, whoops. Oh no,
so
there
as
are
much as I was enjoying the medicine impacting
because it's
sort of the camera, it's starting to feel a little bit overdone.
Because it's not super clear which potion was which. So that's a good one, right? Oh, but I don't... Ooh, there's a blue one there. So blue one is good, but also makes me backwards. So I have to find the rope still. Okay, there's...
Alright, so should we talk about the actual story then?
Yeah, so I mean, it's definitely... so I mean, the premise is definitely there. It's definitely based on... there's the rope. It's definitely based on sort of the Rapunzel fairy tale. Ooh, there we go, always zoom down now.
You can zoom out more if you want.
Nah, not gonna bother. What about the theme though? So Rapunzel is one of the hardest ones to pin down a sort of coherent theme. A lot of it's to do with sort of, you know, yearning and hope and sort of being trapped and that kind of thing. And
it doesn't really...
The problem is, a lot of it feels so sort of like just sort of a bit disjoint and cobbled together. Like we have to go and do some sort of flower puzzle. So it's nice the second time around that it was explained to what we were actually supposed to be doing, but the first time it felt completely out of place. The maze, again, doesn't really sort of fit into it. It's just an arbitrary sort of go and get the MacGuffin from this maze.
Yes, it's very much...
now save the princess.
Collection of just arbitrary plot devices as a narrative.
Oop, why are we back to here? Oh. There we go. So we got slightly out of sync because I clicked too many times.
Okay.
So now, oh god, I hope it doesn't send me back to the puzzle.
Yep. Alright, should we call it here then?
Oh, but I want to find out what that other guy says.
Yes, but
let me just quickly blitz through this bit. And then we need to get a certain number of things.
So yeah, in general I think I agree, it does feel very, very disjoint in terms of... there we go.
Let's try not to click too many times this time.
Yeah, so it does feel very disjoint, and though I think it does have a dramatic curve. You do sort of meet the princess.
Wasn't that guy?
And
the other side of this is the thing. Right?
You do meet the princess, and then you sort of have to save her by collecting the rope. And it does come to this climax at the end of defeating the witch, but that sort of lack of information sort of undermines that choice a lot. And it does sort of take away some of the tension by not knowing exactly how you're going to impact that witch, I reckon.
Mysterious monks, no, lots of amazing things. Oh, so is he just going to tell us witches are strong against copper or something? Hello, god monk. I know why you've come. You have to remember a word. Gold can produce greed, silver can purify evil, copper can...
So there we go, okay.
But... So we managed to miss him the first time because he sort of tucked away over here and we went straight to the ferry.
And there was no dialogue choice to say, I'd like to come back later.
I'll be back in a
right?
second.
Yeah.
So do we want to take the gold sword this time or the copper sword?
Let's take the gold sword and see what happens. I mean, I know what happens, but I want you to take the gold sword.
Hopefully it's interesting, man.
So one interesting thing they've said is they started this game in media res. And I'm not sure that's really true.
I mean, the opening cutscene is very much not media res, it's laying the scene.
Very much it starts at the start of the story, whereas in media res is much more about
She appears in a different place now.
Yeah.
borrowing tension from the middle, right?
Doesn't seem to work. Go to hell, stinky boy. So, this time it jiggles when she attacks. Why? Your behaviour angered because we tried to hit her with a sword. You are killed, game over. Okay.
GG!
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so,
Ooh, what?
it's okay, cool.
That's a bit of an interesting game over screen.
Yeah, it's just sort of a little bit arbitrary. It's a little bit easy to just go pick the wrong sword and say, well, sorry, you got beaten because of course this golden sword wasn't any good.
But I mean, they had otherwise it was relatively well put together, even though some of the sort of puzzles felt a bit arbitrary and a bit sort of out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
And there were a few bugs in some of those puzzles, so sort of avoiding going around the maze. But the rest of it, like the progression sort of worked. The cutscenes were very nice.
Mm-hmm. I liked the way they did the narrative in this as well, sort of the portraits and the fact you can actually skip the teletype.
Yeah.
I thought the maze concept was kind of interesting.
Yeah, sort of the mechanics in that are actually really nice. It would have been nice if they'd sort of made a little bit more of that, I guess. Rather than it just being a random puzzle that you have to do and can easily miss if you sort of pick... Because you only get that if you give up, right? And that was sort of almost the most interesting bit of the game.
Yeah.
Especially since it was one of the most noticeable examples of sort of narrative and mechanics coming together. Yeah, should we move on to the next
let's
one?
move on.
This one is Fake Princess.
Fake Princess.
Yes. I do wonder if that's a bit like a film trailer, though. We just had the entire plot spoiled for us.
Yeah, quite possibly.
Right. Hang on a minute.
Okay, space.
No, I do know this one. I've played this one.
Something or something to move. What are the movement
So
controls?
I think that's just a broken build. It is A and D.
Whoop.
So space to jump.
Oh, that's not just background.
No. And this is it does improve a little bit later on, but this is one of the examples of sort of where the foreground does blend into the background.
Yeah, that's very, very cluttered, and there's no hint. The movement controls feel a little bit floaty as well. We've got this sort of momentum, and we slide a bit even after I've taken my fingers off the keys. So, ooh. Okay, so he drops. Wait! It's really dangerous under the pool. It is another world under the water, but it is important to me. It is a present from my father. I must get it back. So the frog will get it back for us if we promise to kiss the frog. Because he's actually a prince. Bad witch made him a frog. Well, the frog is ugly. I don't really want to kiss him. What should I do? I'll take it back by myself.
So interestingly, that choice determines both which character you play as and which level you go to.
Okay. So the frog says, okay, well, find my crown instead. So there's still presumably a way to get, the quote-unquote good ending, even if we're a little distrustful of the frog. Okay, so we're in the underworld. It's a horrible world. I'm regretting coming here, but I need to get that ball back. Well, there are some words on the tombstone. Let me see. Be careful. Don't touch zombies, thorns, and bushes. Please do not be afraid of bones. Bones are safe, and bones can help you find the road. So we have to follow the bones. It's a very helpful tombstone. That was a very long name for whoever died there. So what's this thing then? It's a switch?
Checkpoint, maybe?
Someone says, here is a shortcut, but it is more dangerous because of 2 zombies. Should I go through the shortcut? No. It's dangerous. There are zombies. That looks like a crown. How do we get to the crown?
Yeah, keep playing.
Whoop. Oh, they're brambles. So this bush is safe, these bushes are not. So part of the problem with using, skulls to tell me which way is the correct way is it's a bit difficult to tell which skull. Like, I would have
the skull
expected.
is the correct way. I
Correct.
thought the skull was a warning.
Yeah. Well, okay, that's.
Well, you just got the princess's face implanted by a platform.
I was not expecting it to have a collider on it. Whoop. So there's an arrow there with some bones. I guess that's how we get the crown. It looks like our head is too big to actually get in there. Aha, there we go. The crown is really important. Yeah, let's take it.
Interesting.
We made it. Now we have to get back. And I can't tell where I am because I'm hidden by this, so it's very difficult to time these spikes.
Yeah, it's very odd that they chose to hide the crown in there, given it's so very obvious which way to go. It's fine, you've still got the crown.
Do I still have the crown?
You still have the crown.
Fantastic.
What's the easy way out? It doesn't tell you that you still have the crown.
Yeah, it'd be nice if there was like an indicator, like just in the corner or something, saying inventory. This platform's very slow. Oh, so we had to wait for that one. Good. That's a bit of a frustrating jumpy. And because it's sort of off the screen, I've got no idea of knowing how A, whether it was going to turn up, and B, how long it'd be. So I don't know if can we make that jump without it, do you reckon?
Without the
Sort of the platform that comes from the top.
I don't think so.
So why don't they sync up?
Oh, that platform. Oh yeah, definitely. I thought you meant a different platform.
Oh, so this is a super shortcut, and it just takes us over those zombies.
But you have to get through the zombies.
So
to
that
get
brings
on
us
the
actually back this way. I
Mhm.
see.
I feel like that would have been easier to go that way than the shortcut.
And now we've gone all.
Jump to the right. Jump to the right.
What?
Too late.
No, but that's the thing. I couldn't make that jump, so I've got to wait all the way until I'm back here and then back there because
No,
the platforms weren't synced
My
up.
point was, if you went up to the top, you could have jumped off and fallen onto the platform.
But it would have been a totally blind jump, and I would have had no idea.
And that wasn't a shortcut. That was a long cut.
It was a shortcut back from the other way, but
But
I see
also,
what you mean, yeah.
also
You
we
have to kill 2 zombies, and then it brings you round.
So you can't kill the zombies. You have to avoid the zombies.
and we'd miss the crown.
It drops you off next to the crown.
Does it?
But all you have to do is jump over a bramble. Otherwise, you have to avoid.
You're
it's actually
right.
a
It's
much
definitely a
harder-
longer way around. It's definitely a longer way around.
Oh god, we're back here again.
But you made that jump.
But you can make that jump without that shortcut thing, so all of that waiting was pointless. So do you reckon I can make it under this crashy thing?
Are those brambles?
Oh, yeah, they are. Fancy that. So I think the first time I did this jump, I actually sort of smacked my face on the other platform, which is why I thought we couldn't do that jump. But yeah, it's really not obvious that they are brambles, because they look like all the other bushes that are fine.
So I wonder if you could run under that.
I just tried. They're brambles.
Oh, I see. Right. So I suggest it's just jumping your way along this because it will help.
Yeah.
There we go. And luckily you fell into the checkpoint. I thought that one goes into the...
Oh. Okay, good. Oh, it stays in there for longer than I was expecting.
It comes out the other side.
Oh, I see. So I have to make this jump instead. Jump, jump. Oh, that one goes in. So it feels like, because these are not synced up properly, so a lot of it's just sort of waiting for the one in however many chance that the platforms actually line up properly. Because they're sort of all taking different routes, they've not necessarily accounted for... Because see, there's only one platform there at a time now.
No, I agree, they definitely aren't synced up properly.
And see that one, yeah.
Nope.
And then...
So they definitely could have improved that, but at the same time it is still doable.
Wow, that sounds like you're volunteering, Cal.
I've already done it, Tom. I did it in the Xbox.
Perfect. You can do it again.
Oh, for God's sake.
Alright, so story engine wise, it looks like they're keeping track of a couple of different things.
Right, what are the controls?
So whether we were nice to the frog, obviously, but also whether we've picked up that crown or something. Space to jump.
Yes. They are a bit stickier.
You're gonna. Oh, good. No, I was worried you were going to do it first time there.
There we go. Did it. Second time. So, oh my precious, I get you back finally. There is a door, and I can come back to my world. Wait, what?
So I think
Okay, he has his own world. Cool. So we give him the crown, and he becomes a handsome prince. And we appreciate his handsomeness, and we declare our undying love for this frog we just met. And we have a perfect ending, Tom.
I wouldn't say it's perfect.
Well, it's prefect. We have a prefect ending. And that's it, I think.
Alright, so alright, let's have a talk about what we think of the game. Do you want to restart it? And
Yes.
You can do the frog level or something, just to see if it's how different it is. But so overall quality, I mean, so the jumping puzzles are designed a little bit. It feels like they could be balanced and tweaked a little bit more. Just
Yes.
so there is a sequence that you can always get through rather than just sort of having to wait. But otherwise, yeah, the controls are a bit like the momentum thing's a little bit of a sort of floaty thing, but
The art style's nice, fairly consistent.
yeah, otherwise the controls are okay. The jump sort of, you get a good sense for sort of how far you can jump. So we promised the frog. Narratively, so now you're controlling the frog. Okay, interesting. So
And now we end up in a different world.
now we're in the Christmas world.
Oh yes, the frog can double jump.
Because he's a frog. Okay, so
Yeah.
I'm not sure if that counts as characterization, but it's a nice sort of little nod in the mechanics to who we're playing as. So yeah, it's a very different styled.
Oh, alright. I think I'm just going to suicide here.
Suicide frog.
Oh, it's not like that.
Sort of thematically,
Could you
Frog
not lag?
Prince, nothing is as it seems.
Mm-hmm.
I guess we're sort of going into like two very different worlds to fetch this thing, but it feels a little bit arbitrary. Like I don't know why there's a magical snow kingdom in this lake.
So there isn't a huge amount of narrative choice in this either, or
Well, there's the choice to pick up the crown or not pick up the crown, but that's about it. Really.
that's about it. Yeah.
All the character you play as.
But there are some nice sort of like sort of the cutscene at the start where the ball appears. It's triggered by by our sort of progression through the level.
Oh, for the love of God.
Alright, don't worry about it too much. So blah blah blah. Some elements like tips and tutorials.
Doesn't it feel like that second double jump is as tall as it should be?
Yeah.
See what I mean? It's sort of.
Oh, it's alright.
Yeah, it doesn't. I'm not actually sure that jump is makeable.
Okay, so it's possible that's just the WebGL build, but at least we saw the other world. I imagine it's the gameplay for this is much the same.
Interesting. So I think they've done it so that jumping just adds to your velocity. So if you're falling downwards at the point of your jump, the jump doesn't do a.
Oh, okay, so if you
doesn't do a lot.
immediately jump twice, you jump higher.
So yeah, if I wait till I'm at the peak.
Okay.
There we go. See?
Okay, so that's maybe a little bit slightly iffy controls. Anyway, sort of themes and stuff. The techniques they've used, they've got sort of some dialogue. It presumably changes depending on which items you've recovered, and then you sort of get a cutscene and an ending. Yeah, otherwise it's like relatively nicely put together.
Oh. Yeah, it's all right.
Okay, should we move on? In fact, is that our last game for this batch? I think
this might be our last game for this batch.
Okay, in that case, thank you very much for watching us, and we will be back shortly with another video.